چی کنیم؟ ما هم دختر هستیم، ما هم از افغانستان هستیم، ما هم بشر هستیم، انسان هستیم، چرا ما مکتب نریم؟
Jawed Karimi watches on his phone a recent news report out of Afghanistan. It shows a group of girls being turned away from a school.
We are also human beings.
He interprets the video for me.
We have a right to education.
5 months ago, Karimi arrived in San Diego with his wife and 2 boys, part of a growing number of Afghan refugees. The world watches as the Russian invasion of Ukraine produces millions of refugees almost overnight. But Karimi and other Afghan refugees are still focused on the plight of their country. Many are nervous that the U.S. will move on, leaving thousands of people who work with the Americans stranded. Some remain in hiding.
They change their house, going from this house to another house to hide them. Yeah. And this is a big concern. If they are forgotten, something bad may happen to them.
Sean Van Diver is part of a coalition of mainly veterans groups trying to bring Afghans who worked with the Americans to safety. Afghan evac has been working with the Biden administration, but Van Diver says the White House has said very little publicly in months.
We're willing to break, to bend over backwards to help Europeans that we haven't served with at the scale that we have with Afghans. And that we've kind of taken our time on Afghans. Folks with whom we served for 20 years, folks who stood by us on the battlefield.
Afghanistan didn't come up during the President's State of the Union address. Van Diver was particularly frustrated after the Biden administration announced that the U.S. would allow 100,000 Ukrainian refugees into the country.
Nobody's saying that we shouldn't be helping Ukrainians. We all agree. What we're saying is that it would be nice if folks who didn't look like us got the same help as folks who looked like us.
Advocates are still waiting for the administration to get behind a permanent status for thousands of Afghans like Jawed Karimi. He was given a temporary status called humanitarian parole. Naomi Steinberg with the refugee aid group Haya says it doesn't fix their situation.
It's not a permanent status in any way. It is not an immigration status. It was very important in that it allowed a lot of people to get here very quickly, and obviously time was of the essence. But what has happened now is that they are here with no path to permanency.
Steinberg says the biggest problem isn't the shifting focus from one refugee crisis to another. She says the previous administration gutted the U.S.'s refugee resettlement program.
It's a lot easier to wreck a program than it is to rebuild. And so that's where we are now, slowly but surely building up. And extraordinary progress is being made, but it feels painfully slow for the individuals who are directly impacted, for sure.
Joved Visserat just received his green card, which will allow him to use his degree in computer programming in San Diego. He was beaten by the Taliban as he made his way to the Kabul airport with his family. This was just days before the last American flight left.
One of them had a 1-meter pipe on their hand and they were beating on my back and my foot. Yeah. And we escaped from them and somehow we entered to the airport.
He left behind 2 brothers who also worked with an American company. He says the Taliban has searched their homes looking for proof that they work with the U.S.
Our suggestion is that for the American government is that please help the people or for the family of those who were helping the Afghan government and also the American troops in Afghanistan.
Because for many Afghans, time is running out. Steve Walsh, KPBS News.